In ancient Greek mythology, the Gorgons were three monstrous sisters who dwelled in a cave at the edge of the world. Steno and Euryale, the elder two, were immortal, while the youngest, Medusa, was mortal. Medusa was feared above all for her terrifying power. Anyone who met her gaze would be instantly turned to stone. The sisters were known for their grotesque appearance, most notably their heads, which had snakes writhing among their hair. According to myth, eventually the hero Perseus was tasked with slaying Medusa, and with the help of divine gifts, he managed to behead her. Perseus would later wield her head as a weapon, capable of turning his enemies to stone. The Gorgoneion, the image of a Gorgon's head, most often that of Medusa, became a powerful symbol in the ancient Greek world. It served as a form of apotropaic magic. The term apotropaic comes from the Greek apotropein, which means to turn away. Much like the evil eye found throughout Mediterranean and Near Eastern cultures, the Gorgoneion functioned as a protective emblem intended to deflect harm and scare away evil spirits. The Gorgoneion appeared in a wide range of contexts. Most notably, the goddess Athena bore it on her aegis, a divine protective device made of goat skin. Alexander the Great is frequently shown wearing the aegis as well, linking his image to divine authority and protection. The Gorgoneion held a prominent place in warfare, as many Greek hoplites painted it on their shields to intimidate their enemies. Yet its use extended well beyond the battlefield. The Gorgoneion was commonly placed atop houses, temples, and public buildings where it served as a spiritual guardian. During the Archaic period, the Gorgoneion was intentionally depicted as grotesque, with bulging eyes, sharp fangs, a protruding tongue, and occasionally large earrings. But by the Hellenistic and Roman periods, its appearance had shifted. The image became much more human, even beautiful at times. These more refined versions appeared in friezes, floor mosaics, and medallions. The symbol persisted well into the Byzantine era, occasionally appearing on amulets and medallions, often alongside Christian symbols and images of saints and angels, reflecting a continuity of apotropaic tradition adapted to a new religious context. In 1977, near the town of Vergina in Greece, at the ancient site of Aegae, the capital of ancient Macedonia, Greek archaeologist Manolis Andronikos and his team uncovered a large tumulus containing 4 royal tombs. Among the most remarkable discoveries was a golden larnax from one of the tombs, believed to have belonged to Philip II, the father of Alexander the Great. This larnax was adorned with a radiant sun emblem featuring a central point surrounded by 16 triangular rays. This symbol, later named the Vergina Sun, was also found on frescoes and artifacts in other Macedonian royal tombs, leading scholars to associate it with the Argead dynasty and subsequent ruling families of ancient Macedon. However, the sunburst motif itself is far from unique to Macedonia. Variations of the design appear throughout the wider Greek world as early as the 6th century BC. It was widespread during the classical and Hellenistic periods and was painted or crafted on temples, shields, armor, cloaks, coins, drinking vessels, and medallions. Occasionally, it appeared behind the heads of deities or important figures, serving as an early form of the halo that later became common in Christian iconography. Variations of this motif continued throughout the medieval period, commonly appearing as stars. Asclepius, the son of Apollo, was originally known as a legendary healer from Thessaly. Over the centuries, he was deified and came to be venerated as the god of healing and medicine. His cult gained immense popularity, and temples dedicated to him, called Asclepians, spread across Greece. These sanctuaries were not merely places of worship, but functioned as early holistic medical centers. People from all over the Greek world journeyed to them, seeking cures for various ailments. A central ritual was known as apoasis, or incubation, in which the sick would sleep within the temple, hoping to receive guidance from Asclepius in their dreams. The symbol most closely associated with Asclepius is the rod entwined by a single serpent, said in myth to have been a gift from his father, Apollo. As for its meaning, the rod may have held practical significance. Just as judges at the Olympic Games carried staffs to signify their official roles, priests of Asclepius may have used rods to mark their sacred duties within the temple. The serpent has been interpreted in various ways. A common view is that it symbolizes rejuvenation, as snakes shed their skin and emerge renewed, mirroring the healing process by which patients cast off illness and regain health. Another interpretation points to the ancient medicinal use of snake venom in small doses. Additionally, non-venomous snakes were commonly kept in Asclepions and allowed to roam freely in areas where patients rested, as the Greeks believed these animals embodied sacred wisdom and healing power. Today, the rod of Asclepius stands as a universal emblem of medicine and healing, prominently featured in hospitals, pharmacies, and medical services. A symbol often mistakenly identified as the rod of Asclepius in modern times is the Caduceus, known in Greek as the Gorgoneion. The Caduceus is typically depicted as a staff with two intertwined snakes and in many representations a pair of wings at the top. The Caduceus is traditionally associated with Hermes, the messenger of the gods in Greek mythology. Hermes was also the god of commerce, communication, travelers, thieves, and the one who guided the souls to the underworld. In some traditions, the Caduceus is also linked to Iris, the goddess of the rainbow. The top of the staff, often adorned with a headpiece, is sometimes viewed as a symbol of divine authority. The wings represent speed and agility, while the two snakes are often interpreted as symbols of duality and balance. Interestingly, similar twin serpent motifs appear in other ancient cultures as well, particularly those of the Near East. As we mentioned, the Caduceus has been inaccurately adopted in some modern contexts as a symbol of medicine. Outside of this misinterpretation, it is also used in its correct context in many coats of arms and also by services involved in logistics, commerce, and transportation. Cronus, the ruler of the Titans in ancient Greek mythology, once received a prophecy that one of his children would eventually overthrow him. To prevent this, he swallowed each of his children whole as soon as they were born. When Zeus, the youngest, was born, his mother Rhea could no longer bear to lose another child. To save him, she tricked Cronus by giving him a swaddled stone to swallow, while she secretly hid the infant Zeus in a cave on the island of Crete. There, he was cared for by local nymphs and a goat named Amalthea. As Zeus grew, he became incredibly strong. One day, while playing, he accidentally broke one of Amalthea's horns. To make amends, Zeus endowed the broken horn with magical powers, transforming it into an endless source of nourishment. Known as the Horn of Amalthea or Cornucopia, meaning the Horn of Abundance, it came to symbolize prosperity, good fortune, wealth, plenty, and well-being. It frequently appeared in ancient Greek and Roman art. It also featured in agricultural festivals representing the bounty of the earth. The Cornucopia experienced a revival during the Renaissance, becoming one of the era's most widely used artistic symbols. Today, it remains a familiar emblem, often appearing in coats of arms, government seals, and as a central icon of Thanksgiving. In ancient Greek culture, plant wreaths were considered sacred. Priests used them in ceremonies, people wore them during festivals and symposia, and they were often hung at the entrances of temples and homes as signs of prosperity and divine favor. Specific types of wreaths were associated with particular deities: laurel with Zeus and Apollo, olive with Athena, and vine leaves with Dionysus. Wreaths also held a prominent role in the Pan-Hellenic Games, which included the Olympic, Pythian, Nemean, and Isthmian Games. Victors in these competitions were crowned with wreaths as marks of honor. Each game had its own distinct wreath: olive for the Olympic Games, laurel for the Pythian, wild celery for the Nemean, and pine for the Isthmian. Thus, wreaths also became symbols of victory and glory. By the late classical period, golden crowns fashioned to resemble wreaths emerged as symbols of royal power worn by kings and emperors. During the Roman era, laurel wreaths were worn by victorious generals or emperors during military triumphs. Throughout history, wreaths have held significance across a wide range of cultural traditions. Though no longer commonly worn, they continue to be prominently displayed around the world, adorning doors during holidays and festivals, or placed on monuments as tributes. In a symbolic revival of ancient tradition, the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens honored winning athletes by crowning them with wreaths, just as was done thousands of years ago.